Have you ever, watched someone just bounce back from a real setback? Effortlessly, it seems, while someone else facing basically the same thing just kind of crumbles.
Hmm.
It often comes down to that inner voice, right? The quiet chat we have with ourselves that sort of shapes our whole path.
Yeah, it really does.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a book that feels, well, less like just reading and more like a crucial conversation for that inner world. It's Carol Dweck's Mindset, The New Psychology of Success.
A truly transformative book.
Our goal here is to really distill its wisdom and show you why getting your head around this could be maybe the most important psychological shift you make this year.
That's exactly it. Think of this dump dive as us guiding you through Dweck's key ideas, chapter by chapter.
Right.
We'll pull out the core concepts, give you some practical ways to actually use them, and hopefully shine a light on some maybe less obvious points that make you rethink what success and failure even mean.
Consider it your shortcut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A shortcut to not just knowing about Dweck's work, but really getting its impact on your own growth, personally and professionally.
Okay, let's jump right in. The foundational idea from chapter 1, the mindsets. It's like elegantly simple, but surprisingly deep.
It really is.
Dweck basically says you believe one of two things. Either your abilities are fixed, like traits you're just born with,
Set in stone.
or that they can grow, that they develop through effort, through dedication, and this core belief. That's the root of your mindset.
And the power of realizing this, for me anyway, is the language it gives you. It's the shift from saying, I'm just not good at this, to opening up that possibility. I'm not good at this yet.
That yet is huge.
It's tiny, but it changes everything. It's like a little key unlocking a whole different way of thinking.
Absolutely. That small word, it just unlocks so much potential. It's almost like giving yourself permission to stumble,
Permission to learn.
Exactly. So a really practical thing you can do right away is just start noticing your own self-talk. When you hear yourself say, oh, I'm terrible with money, just mentally tack on that yet.
I'm terrible with money yet.
It instantly turns that judgment into, well, an invitation to grow. Have you found that just adding yet, does it actually change how you feel about a task, or is it more just a cognitive nudge?
Oh, it's definitely more than a nudge. It's a great first step, for sure. It sort of physically reorients your brain, makes you look for solutions instead of just, throwing your hands up.
Right.
And building on that, chapter 2, Inside the Mindsets, really digs into how these beliefs act like filters, powerful filters. They shape how you interpret, well, everything. Successes, failures, even how you view effort itself.
It's a real eye-opener, that part. You think about two students, right? They fail the same test.
Yeah.
The one with the fixed mindset. They might immediately think, well, I'm dumb, or guess I'm just not a math person.
Yeah, end of story for them.
But the growth mindset student, they're asking different questions. Okay, where did I go wrong in studying? What can I learn from this? What do I need to change next time?
So the question becomes, how do you train yourself to see those moments constructively? One really powerful tool the book talks about is keeping a failure journal.
A failure journal. Sounds a bit grim.
Yeah, the name maybe needs work. But it's not just listing failures. It's crucial to detail what you learn from it. And importantly, what's the very next concrete step you can take?
Okay, I see.
It reframes failure. It's not a dead end anymore. It becomes like super valuable research data, a blueprint for getting better, not an excuse to stop.
That's actually a brilliant reframe, a game changer, really, seeing every stumble as just data.
Exactly.
Now, shifting gears slightly, chapter 3, the truth about ability and accomplishment. This one really challenges our culture's obsession with, natural talent.
Oh, definitely.
Dweck argues pretty forcefully that natural talent is, well, maybe vastly overrated. What truly matters more, she says, is consistent effort and just a relentless commitment to learning.
Yeah, the book does a great job showing how we romanticize genius. Figures like Mozart or Edison.
Yeah.
We see the result, not the process.
Right. Yeah.
Mozart wasn't just born composing symphonies. The guy trained obsessively from, toddlerhood. And Edison, people forget the thousands of, quote, failed prototypes before the light bulb. It wasn't innate genius alone. It was that relentless growth-minded process.
It makes you really question what genius even is. Maybe it's just that unyielding commitment to getting better.
That's a huge part of it.
It's the chapter that kind of tells your ego to sit down, doesn't it? Completely reorients things.
It does.
A really practical way to apply this, I think, is to take something like Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule, but make it personal. Break down those huge goals into smaller chunks, manageable steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the big goal doesn't feel so impossible. Like for me, learning guitar, it wasn't about becoming Eric Clapton overnight. It was celebrating getting through like 15 minutes of practice without wanting to throw the thing out the window.
Yes. Small wins build momentum. Have you found that useful in other areas too?
Oh, definitely. It applies everywhere. That feeling of making progress, even tiny progress, keeps you going.
Exactly. And that chunking of effort, breaking it down, it ties perfectly into Chapter 4, Sports, the mindset of a champion. Dweck shows that great athletes aren't just born gifted, they're made, cultivated through that growth mindset. The key, they're teachable.
And the classic example she uses, Michael Jordan.
Of course.
Famously cut from his high school team, he didn't pack it in. He used that failure, that perceived rejection, as fuel. Turned it into relentless practice. You know that famous line of his, I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. That just perfectly captures it.
It really does. So for all of us, whether you're aiming for the Olympics or just trying to get better at your job, a really key suggestion is deliberate practice.
Okay, what's that exactly?
It's not just putting in the hours. It's intentional, focused effort, specifically on the things you find hard, your weak spots.
Leaning into the discomfort.
Precisely. And it's also really insightful, Dweck notes, to just listen to how top performers talk in any field. They rarely focus on being gifted. They talk about learning, adapting, how hard they worked, the strategies they used.
That's a great point. Okay, let's broaden this out beyond just us as individuals. Chapter 5, Business, Mindset, and Leadership. This shows how growth-minded leaders create entirely different company cultures.
Yeah, it's stark. They foster learning and development, not these ego-driven environments where everyone's trying to prove they're the smartest.
Right.
You look at examples like Satya Nadella at Microsoft. He really shifted the culture towards empathy and growth, away from that intense internal competition. And that directly fueled innovation.
Or even Steve Jobs later in his career.
Right. Unlike his younger, more notoriously rigid self, he apparently learned to actually seek out and use feedback. Great leaders get that their job isn't just to be smart, but to make everyone around them smarter, to help them grow.
So what's a super practical thing leaders can take from this?
Well, one suggestion is simple. Start your team meetings by asking, okay, what did we learn this week? Not just what did we achieve, but what did we learn?
I like that. And for employees.
Actively seek feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. Maybe especially when it's uncomfortable. It just builds that learning culture for everyone. It echoes that whole growth approach.
Makes sense. And bringing it even closer to home, Chapter 6, Relationships, Mindsets in Love or Not. This offers a really profound angle.
It really does.
A growth mindset in relationships means more openness, more resilience. You start seeing conflicts not as like relationship enders, but as chances to grow together, to understand each other better.
It was genuinely humbling reading that chapter, I have to say. It paints such a clear picture of the fixed mindset in relationships that if you loved me, you'd just know, or we're just too different.
Yeah, that feeling of this shouldn't be this hard.
Exactly. Versus the growth mindset, which says, okay, we are different. Let's figure out how to bridge that. Let's learn how to communicate better. Dweck is pretty clear. Relationships aren't just there to validate who you already are. They're meant to stretch you, to help you grow.
Powerful.
And a simple, but like incredibly powerful shift the book suggests. In those moments of friction, instead of asking, why can't you understand me?
Which is often the first thing that comes to mind.
Right. Try reframing it. Ask, what am I not seeing from your perspective here?
Yeah.
It just shifts the whole dynamic from conflict to like joint problem solving. I found that changes everything in navigating disagreements.
That's a great tool. So where do these mindsets actually originate? Chapter 7, Parents, Teachers, and Coaches digs into that. And it highlights how much the type of feedback we get shapes us. The core message is praise the process, praise the effort, praise the strategy, not just the person, not just the innate ability.
And the examples Dweck provides are so clear, aren't they? Telling a kid, wow, you're so smart, might feel good, but it can actually foster a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
It creates this pressure to always be smart and maybe a fear of trying things where they might fail and not look smart.
Right. Versus saying something like, you worked really hard on that problem and look how you figured it out. That praises the effort, the persistence. It nourishes the growth mindset.
It really makes you stop and think about how often we default to praising the person, not the process.
Yeah.
Even with ourselves.
Totally. So the actionable advice is clear. Focus praise on effort, strategy, persistence. Instead of you're a natural at this, try, I really noticed how you stuck with that tricky part even when it got frustrating. That persistence is fantastic. I've even started trying to apply this to my own internal monologue. When I'm looking at, say, a messy first draft of something, instead of thinking, oh, this is awful, I try to tell myself, okay, good job getting the initial ideas down. That took persistence. Now what's the strategy to refine it?
That's a perfect application. And that leads us nicely to the final chapter, Chapter 8, Changing Mindsets. This one delivers, I think, the most hopeful message in the whole book.
Which is?
The core takeaway is that these mindsets, they're not fixed. They're not set in stone. They are remarkably malleable. You can change your mindset with awareness and, crucially, with practice.
Yeah, that chapter is full of really inspiring stories. People from all walks of life, students, athletes, CEOs who consciously decided to shift their mindset and saw like completely different results in their lives. It powerfully reinforces that having a growth mindset is ultimately a choice. It's a discipline you have to cultivate.
And a really effective suggestion for you listening is to create your own growth mindset trigger list.
Okay, like what?
Like, you write down common situations where you feel stuck or defensive, and then pair them with a growth-oriented response. For instance, trigger, feeling stuck, response. What's the next small skill I need to learn here? Or trigger, made a mistake, response. What can this teach me about my approach?
Oh, that's smart. Pre-planning your response.
Exactly. It helps short-circuit that fixed mindset reaction. And visualizing growth, even in small, realistic steps, is also incredibly helpful. Rather than just dreaming of the finish line, for me, whenever that little voice pipes up, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I try to immediately counter with, okay, but I can learn how.
So reflecting on the whole book, mindset, it's really clear. It's much more than just, a psychology concept. It feels more like a framework for living.
I agree. Stepping back, you see that mindset is, a life philosophy. It's a mental habit you build, like a muscle. Dweck doesn't just point out the problem. She gives us this whole toolkit to basically rewire our inner narrative, to change how we relate to challenges, to failure, to learning itself.
And the biggest takeaway for me, the one that feels like it should be, I don't know, tattooed on my brain, is Dweck's idea that becoming is better than being.
Yeah.
It just captures the beauty of progress, right? Loving the process, even when it's messy, even when you're stuck in that uncomfortable, not yet place. She makes it so clear. Your brain is plastic. It can change, it can learn, it can adapt, but only if you actually let it, if you believe it can.
Which brings us to a really crucial, very timely question, I think, for all of us right now. In this world that's changing so fast, especially with AI booming, how does Dweck's mindset help us humans stay relevant, stay resourceful?
That's a huge question. Because it's easy, isn't it? When you see AI coding, writing, creating art, the fixed mindset reaction is probably something like, well, AI is going to replace me. Why bother learning new stuff?
Yeah, that fear is real.
But the growth mindset flips that instantly. It asks, okay, AI is an incredibly powerful tool, not necessarily a replacement. So what can I learn now to work with it? How can I leverage this to evolve my own skills, my own role?
And zooming out, you see, we're undeniably shifting. We're moving from what you might call a knowledge economy, where what you knew is key, towards a learning economy.
A learning economy. Explain that.
In this new landscape, the people who thrive won't just be the ones with the most existing knowledge. It'll be the ones who can constantly learn, unlearn, relearn, and adapt quickly. Dweck's book basically provides the mental operating system for that kind of world.
Okay, so how does this growth mindset practically help us stay relevant in this age of AI?
Well, first, I think it fosters what you can call skill fluidity over just skill mastery.
Skill fluidity.
Yeah, AI can master a specific task incredibly fast. But a growth mindset lets us constantly update, pivot, combine skills. So instead of clinging to the identity, I am a writer, maybe you embrace, I am a storyteller, and I can use text, voice, visuals, AI tools, whatever it takes, you're more adaptable.
Right, not tied to one tool or method.
Exactly. It also encourages deeper collaboration with AI. The growth-minded person asks, okay, what can AI do faster or better, freeing me up to focus on the uniquely human stuff?
Like what?
Like empathy, ethical judgment, complex intuition, real creativity born from lived experience. Things AI, at least for now, can't replicate.
It also pushes us towards embracing the beginner's mind, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A fixed mindset hates feeling incompetent, hates starting over. A growth mindset is more comfortable with being a beginner, again and again. And that adaptability, that willingness to learn anew, is crucial when things change fast.
Yeah, because roles will become obsolete faster.
They will. And the growth mindset gives you that psychological agility, that resilience to handle the discomfort of reinvention, to see starting over as just part of the journey, not a failure.
And finally, creativity itself. How does mindset play into that with AI?
Well, AI can generate, it can remix based on vast data sets.
Yeah.
But can it truly feel the human condition? Can it tap into deep personal experience or nuanced cultural understanding in the same way? A growth mindset encourages us to create from those uniquely human places AI can't easily reach. That's where our distinct value will increasingly lie. If I had to boil it all down for this AI era, it might be this. The age of AI doesn't need people who know everything. It needs people who are hungry to learn anything.
Wow. That really lands. That's the growth mindset in a nutshell, isn't it?
Pretty much.
So, some really actionable advice for you listening today. Try to actively cultivate curiosity over just relying on your existing expertise. Build those meta skills, adaptability, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. They're human differentiators.
Learn to see AI as a collaborator, not just a competitor. Find ways to leverage it.
And maybe most importantly, get comfortable with experimenting. Practice failing fast, learning from it even faster, and moving on. Because the future. It likely won't belong to just the smartest, but definitely to the most adaptable.
Well said.
So, understanding this, really internalizing and actively cultivating a growth mindset, especially now in this world of rapid change, it can have such a massive impact on your ability to not just cope, but to actually thrive. This book, Mindset, it's a genuine catalyst for starting that journey.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day after listening, maybe ponder this thought. What's just one fixed mindset belief you're holding on to that maybe, just maybe, you'd like to challenge or even flip today?
That's a powerful question to sit with. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep growing, and keep diving deep into what makes you tick.